It's January 3rd, 1950 in Moscow, and after a very long and intensive labor, a mother gives birth to a baby girl, but something unexpected happened. Before the mother could even lay eyes on her baby, the newborn was immediately rushed out of the delivery room. A short time later, a doctor returns with the devastating news that the baby did not survive. At least, that's what the family was told. This is the curious case of Masha and Dasha. Hi, I'm Dr. V. Welcome back to the channel. This is a curious case episode, and today I'm talking about the sisters Masha and Dasha. They were conjoined twins that were born in the Soviet Union during a time when Joseph Stalin's regime was in full force, a time when individual rights were virtually non-existent and the Soviet government held pretty much absolute control over every aspect of life. It was also during this time that a directive order was in place to all hospitals regarding the birth of any conjoined twins. You see, Dr. Peter Anakin, a Soviet scientist, needed conjoined twins as subjects for his experiment. So when Masha and Dasha were born, they became property of the state, while the family was led to believe that the baby had died of pneumonia. The sisters presented with a very rare type of union. Anatomically, they were joined at the hip, which means that they each had their own heart, their own nervous system, and their own digestive system. But they did, however, share the same bloodstream. So for the first 6 years of their lives, the girls lived in complete isolation. Only nurses and scientists, the same scientists who often subjected them to some pretty cruel experiments. For example, one twin would be burned while the other one was observed. One would be denied sleep while the other one slept peacefully. Starvation, extreme temperatures, drug trials, they were subjected to all sorts of experiments and clearly without any sort of ethical oversight. When Joseph Stalin died in 1953, the experiments began to slow down. By 1956, Masha and Dasha had been moved to a boarding school for disabled children. But even then, they still remained under observation and under institutional control. As they got older, they were moved over to a nursing home, and in 2003, Masha passed away due to a stroke from a suspected blood clot. This, of course, affected Dasha, as she too passed away 17 hours after her sister. They were 53 years old at that time. So what did scientists learn from Masha and Dasha? Well, a lot actually, but what I personally find most interesting was their response to illnesses. You see, when one would develop an infection and get sick, like with the flu or the cold, the other was completely unaffected, despite sharing the same bloodstream. And this challenged a very simplistic view of the germ theory. Yes, germs do have a role in disease, but it also highlights the importance of an individual's immunity. The difference between who gets sick and who doesn't often depends on the state of the other systems, like that of the digestive system and the nervous system. Their case showed that even with shared blood, immune responses can diverge dramatically. It's not just about exposure, but how the body communicates and coordinates a response. Masha and Dasha's contributions to science were significant, but of course it came with a personal cost. And perhaps the most important lesson of all, it's not really a scientific, but rather ethics. See, Masha and Dasha's story is one of many examples of why scientific progress or patient care must be guided by compassion, consent, and respect for individual autonomy. A code of ethics, something that Masha and Dasha did not have. Well, that's all I've got for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you back next time.